5 athletic brands robbing you blind, and 3 that are worth every penny. You're not paying for performance anymore. You're paying for a swoosh, a stripe, or a slogan stitched onto a piece of polyester. Some athletic giants are charging $140 for sneakers that cost the factory $12 to make, while smaller companies are quietly building better gear for half the price. And the worst part, most buyers never realize the shoes came off the same Vietnamese assembly line as the budget pair next to them. Number 5, opening with a brand built almost entirely on athlete endorsements. Before we get into the countdown, hit subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns like this one. It keeps the receipts coming. Number 5, Under Armour, the Baltimore brand founded in 1996 by a former University of Maryland football captain. And they have spent the last 20 years convincing buyers that compression fabric is a science instead of a commodity. Their HeatGear compression shirts are the volume seller, retailing for $30 to $40 in the United States. It's an 84% polyester, 16% elastane knit, manufactured at contract factories in Vietnam, Jordan, and Indonesia at commodity rates. Industry costing data on a comparable polyester elastane compression top comes in at $3 to $5 to produce. So, we're looking at a markup of 7 to 10 times the landed cost. Their Tech Tee, the everyday training shirt, retails at $25 in a basic polyester loose knit that costs the factory under $2 a unit. The HOVR Sonic running shoes retail at $100 with their HOVR cushioning, which is really just a standard EVA foam with a trademark staple to it. Factory cost on a comparable running shoe at their Vietnamese assembly facilities runs around $11 to $15. That's a markup of 6 to 8 times the landed cost. Under Armour posted a gross margin of 47.5% for fiscal 2024, with selling and administrative expenses eating most of what you paid for the logo on the chest. Their Project Rock line, marketed as Dwayne Johnson's signature collection, pushes hoodies past $80 in a polyester cotton blend that wholesales at $4 a yard. The function is generic. The price is for the athlete endorsement you can't separate from the fabric. Under Armour opens the ripoff list with compression fabric buzzwords on basic polyester. The next brand built its entire identity on 3 stripes and a German sports heritage, and now sells shoes stitched in the same Asian factories as everyone else. Number 4, Adidas, founded in 1949 in Herzogenaurach, Germany by Adi Dassler, and they have spent the last 50 years cashing in on that origin story across every category they touch. Take their Ultra Boost running shoes, the flagship cushioning model, retailing for $190 at most retailers. The Boost midsole is a thermoplastic polyurethane foam licensed from BASF, and the Prime Knit upper is a woven polyester yarn. Industry costing on a comparable Ultra Boost, manufactured at contract factories in Vietnam, Indonesia, and China, runs between $18 and $24 to produce. That's a markup of 7 to 10 times the landed cost. Their Samba sneakers tell the same story, retailing between $100 and $120. The leather upper is a corrected grain hide that wholesales at $3 a square foot. The rubber gum sole is a commodity compound mass-produced at scale, sold under different names by budget brands for under $15 a pair. Their Tiro track pants retail for $55 in a recycled polyester double knit that costs the factory about $4 a unit. The Add-A-Color 3-stripe tee sits at $30 in a basic cotton jersey that wholesales at $3 a yard. What you're really paying for is the 3 stripes and a German heritage story. They sponsor Real Madrid, Manchester United, and most of the German national teams. And you fund the marketing every time you buy a pair of Sambas. Adidas posted a gross margin of 50.8% for fiscal 2024, with athlete endorsements and licensing deals eating most of the spread. The Yeezy line, before the split with Kanye West in 2022, pushed sneakers past $250 on foam that cost the factory $9 a pair. Adidas sells a German heritage story stitched in a Vietnamese factory at commodity rates. Number 3, Lululemon. The Vancouver brand founded in 1998 by Chip Wilson, who built the company on selling stretchy fabric to yoga instructors, and then watched it become the most expensive athleisure label on the shelf. Their Align leggings are the flagship, retailing for $98 to $128 in the United States. It's their proprietary Nulu fabric, which is really just a nylon elastane knit spun by the same mills in Taiwan and Vietnam that supply half the activewear market. Industry costing data on a comparable nylon elastane legging manufactured at Lululemon's contract factories across Vietnam, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh places the landed cost between $8 and $12. That's a markup of 8 to 12 times the landed cost. Their Wunder Train leggings retail at $108 in their Everlux fabric, a polyester elastane blend that wholesales at $4 a yard. The Scuba hoodie sits at $118 in a cotton polyester fleece that costs the factory under $7 a unit. The Define jacket retails at $118 in the same Luon fabric family. Their ABC pants, marketed as the men's flagship trouser with the trademarked anti-ball crushing gusset, retail at $128 in a Warp Stream blend that costs about $9 to land in their warehouse. Lululemon posted a gross margin of 58.3% for fiscal 2024, the highest on this villain countdown so far, with selling and administrative expenses eating most of what you paid for the seamless waistband. The Mirror acquisition for $500 million in 2020 was written down to nearly zero within 3 years, and the loss was absorbed quietly into the same margin you fund every time you buy a pair of Aligns. The fabric is generic. The fit is good. The price is for the bag the cashier hands you. Lululemon turned a nylon, elastane knit into a luxury category. The next brand owns half the running shoe aisle and pushed sneaker prices past the $200 mark with a swoosh and a moonshot marketing budget. Number 2, Nike. The Beaverton, Oregon brand, founded in 1964 by Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman, and they have turned the swoosh into one of the most expensive branding exercises in athletic retail. The Air Max 90 is one of their volume sellers, retailing for $130 to $150. It's a leather and mesh upper with a polyurethane midsole and an encapsulated air unit, manufactured at contract factories across Vietnam, Indonesia, and China. Industry costing places the landed cost on a comparable Air Max 90 between $14 and $19. The Pegasus 41 running shoes retail at $140 in a recycled mesh upper with their React X foam midsole, which costs the factory around $16 to assemble. The Dry Fit training tee sits at $35 in a polyester peak that wholesales at $2 a yard. Their Tech Fleece hoodie retails at $130 in a polyester cotton fleece that costs the factory about $8 a unit. The Vaporfly 3 racing shoes retail at $260 with a carbon plate and Zoom X foam midsole. The factory cost on a comparable carbon plate racer with the same foam runs around $30 to $40. That's a markup of 6 to 8 times the landed cost. Nike posted a gross margin of 44.6% for fiscal 2024 on revenue of $51 billion. Athlete endorsements consumed over $4 billion of that spend, with LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo, and a roster of Olympians funded directly out of the swoosh on your chest. The Jordan brand, which Nike still owns and operates as a sublabel, pushes retro releases past $200 on a midsole that costs the factory $12. The shoes are well engineered. The price is the endorsement. Nike turned the swoosh into a marketing machine on a $140 running shoe. The next brand turned a knit upper into a fashion category and pushed sneaker prices past the $400 mark with celebrity collaborations. Number 1, On Running. And topping the list, the Swiss brand founded in 2010 in Zurich by Olivier Bernhard, a former triathlete, and David Alleman, with backing from Roger Federer, who took an equity stake in 2019. The Cloud X is the flagship trainer, retailing for $150, made with their patented Cloud Tech midsole, a series of hollow rubber pods that compress under load. The upper is an engineered mesh polyester. The midsole compound costs the mill around $5 a unit. Add in the cut, the speed lacing system, the assembly labor at their contract factories in Vietnam and Indonesia, and the total landed cost runs between $16 and $22. That's a markup of 6 to 9 times the landed cost. The Cloud Monster retails at $170. The Cloud Surfer lands at $160. Their Cloud Boom Echo 3 racing shoe retails at $290 in a carbon plate and Helion foam midsole. The factory cost on a comparable carbon racer runs around $35. The Roger Pro Tennis Collection, designed with Federer, pushes shoes past $250 on the same Vietnamese assembly line. On Holding posted a gross margin of 60.5% for fiscal 2024, the highest on this entire villain countdown. The Federer endorsement equity, the brand's Tokyo and New York flagship stores, and a celebrity-fueled TikTok presence have pushed prices through the roof. The shoes are good. The price is the hype. On Running closes the ripoff list. The next three brands sit on the other side, where what you pay for is the gear, not the swoosh. Number 3, Tracksmith. The Boston brand founded in 2014 by Matt Taylor, who built the company on a single idea. That competitive running deserved a better wardrobe than recycled marketing from the major sneaker conglomerates. Their Van Cortlandt singlet, the flagship racing top, retails for $68 in the United States. A merino blend knit sewn in Pennsylvania at a family-run mill that has been operating since the 1920s. Their Harrier tee retails at $58 in a recycled polyester mesh knit in the United States. The Elliott Runner shoes, their first foray into footwear, retail at $198 with a TPU midsole and a leather and mesh upper assembled at a vetted Vietnamese partner facility. Now, is that cheap? No. But here's what those prices include. The Van Cortlandt singlet is knit in Pennsylvania, dyed in North Carolina, and sewn in Massachusetts, a domestic supply chain you can drive to and verify. Tracksmith publishes the name and location of every mill and factory they work with on their website. They run an amateur support program that funds high school and post-collegiate runners directly, with no athlete endorsement deals routed through agencies. Their repair program will restitch any seam for the life of the garment. So the markup runs around 3 times the landed cost. You're paying for fabric that lasts a decade and a supply chain you can actually read. Tracksmith proves that competitive running gear doesn't have to be funded by a billboard. Number 2, Allbirds. The San Francisco brand, founded in 2014 by Tim Brown, a former New Zealand soccer player, and Joey Zwillinger, a renewable materials engineer. The brand was built on a single bet that merino wool and sugarcane foam could replace petroleum-based athletic footwear. Their wool runners are the flagship, retailing for $110 in a ZQ-certified merino wool, upper-sourced from New Zealand sheep farms, with verified animal welfare standards. Compare that to a Nike Air Max 90 at $150. Their tree runners sit at $110 in a Tencel lyocell upper, made from sustainably harvested eucalyptus fiber. The Tree Dasher 2 running shoes retail at $135 with a sweet foam midsole made from sugarcane-derived bio-EVA, the first carbon-negative foam compound in commercial athletic footwear. Then there's the carbon footprint label printed on every box. Allbirds publishes the kilograms of CO2 emitted per pair of shoes, the same way a food label publishes calories, a transparency standard that no major sneaker brand has matched. Allbirds is a certified B Corporation with a verified score well into the top tier globally. They run their own life cycle assessment program that audits every material from farm to factory floor. 1% of every sale funds environmental nonprofits through their Allbirds Foundation. You're paying for the gear, the wool, and a mission you can verify on the side of the box. Allbirds turned sugarcane foam into a business model. And in first place, Brooks Running. The Seattle brand, founded in 1914 in Pennsylvania as a bathing shoe maker, and acquired by Berkshire Hathaway in 2006, where Warren Buffett locked the company into a single mandate, focus exclusively on running, and refuse the diversification that broke every other heritage athletic brand. Their Ghost 16 is the volume seller, retailing for $140 with a DNA Loft V3 midsole and an engineered mesh upper sewn at vetted contract factories in Vietnam with published wage audits. Their Glycerin 21 sits at $165 in the same midsole compound with a softer ride profile. The Adrenaline GTS 24 retails at $140 and remains the most prescribed running shoe in podiatry clinics across North America. Now, is that cheap? No. But here's what those prices include. Brooks invests over $30 million a year into biomechanics research at their own facility in Seattle, the largest dedicated running gait lab in the industry. They have not added a basketball line, a casual sneaker line, or a fashion collaboration in 20 years, a discipline that no public sneaker conglomerate has matched. Their Run Happy guarantee covers every shoe for 90 days with a full refund, no questions asked, even on worn pairs. Their Trailhead recycling program takes back used shoes, strips them for raw materials, and rebuilds them into running track surfaces for community programs. And Berkshire Hathaway has held the brand for almost 20 years without flipping it, stripping it, or rebranding it into a logo play. So you're paying for fabric, labor, research, and a mission that doesn't quietly disappear when the next quarterly earnings call comes around. Brooks stayed a running company when every competitor became a logo.